Pass the gravy, failure. My brother David smirked across our parents' perfectly set Thanksgiving table. Mom pretended not to hear, too busy arranging her designer table settings for the perfect Instagram photo. I handed him the gravy boat worth more than what they thought I made in a month. If only they knew about the offshore accounts, the shell companies, the careful chess game I'd been playing for the last 3 years. Sarah, Dad sighed, using his disappointed executive voice, surely by now you could find something stable? A real career. I took a sip of wine, a $3,000 bottle I'd brought but they assumed was cheap because I hadn't boasted about it. I'm doing fine with my current work. Fine. Mom scoffed, finally satisfied with her place settings. You work from coffee shops. You can't even afford a proper office. Those coffee shops were actually my satellite offices, scattered across the city. My real headquarters occupied the top floors of the Millennium Tower, but they'd never bothered to visit. At least she's not asking for money anymore, David added, straightening his new Rolex, a gift for his recent promotion at Stellar Communications. The same company where our parents had worked for 20 years, and the same company I'd spent 3 years quietly acquiring. My phone buzzed discreetly. Marcus, my CFO. Final shares secured. We own 62%. Board meeting scheduled for Monday. How's the startup life? Dad asked mockingly. Still doing that consulting thing? By consulting he meant building a $4 billion investment empire that had just acquired his precious company. Then yes. I was still doing that thing. It pays the bills, I replied mildly, watching Mom wince at my cheap blazer. She'd never recognize a bespoke Armani when it wasn't displayed with proper affluent fanfare. Bills for what? David laughed. That tiny apartment? Your used Honda. The tiny apartment was actually the penthouse of the building I owned. The used Honda was a carefully chosen prop, parked next to my collection of supercars in my private garage. Speaking of bills, Mom brightened. David just got another raise at Stellar. Vice President of Operations now. Following in your father's footsteps. My phone lit up again, photographs of the new Stellar Communications sign being manufactured. The one that would show its new ownership on Monday morning. Stellar's doing very well, Dad boasted. Stock's up since we modernized the sales division. Modernized? I couldn't help asking. You mean the automated system that's full of security holes? Dad's face darkened. Now, Sarah, just because you played with computers in college doesn't mean you understand enterprise-level systems. If he only knew those computer games had led to me developing the software that half of Silicon Valley now used. The same software that had helped me track Stellar's vulnerabilities. How's the pension fund doing? I asked innocently, knowing exactly how it was doing. I'd spent months documenting their mismanagement. That's not something you need to worry about, Dad dismissed. Complex corporate matters are better left to professionals. My phone buzzed again, Marcus updating me on Monday's schedule. 9 a.m. board meeting. 10 a.m. ownership announcement. 11 a.m. press conference. 12 p.m. staff meeting to announce restructuring. Still, Mom sighed, it's not too late to join the real world. Patricia's daughter works in HR at Stellar. She could help you apply for an entry-level position. I bit back a smile, thinking of Patricia's daughter, who'd actually been helping me document workplace violations for the past year. I'm happy with my work, I replied, checking another message from Marcus. Security cards and system access updated. Old management credentials expire Sunday midnight. Happy. David snorted. Living hand to mouth, no stability, no real success? At least when you were in tech you had potential. Oh, the irony. My tech ventures had funded the very takeover they'd soon witness. Success isn't always visible, I said carefully, watching Dad roll his eyes. In our world it is, he declared. Look at Stellar, 30 years of visible, tangible success. That's what real business looks like. I glanced at my watch, a subtle Patek Philippe that probably cost more than David's yearly salary. In less than 72 hours their definition of real business would be completely upended. Speaking of Stellar, Mom added, the company gala is next month. David's bringing that lovely investment banker he's dating. Sarah dear, perhaps you could find someone suitable? If you can afford a proper dress. My phone lit up one last time, the final confirmation. All paperwork filed. Stellar Communications is officially under new ownership. Monday's announcement cleared by legal. Actually, I smiled, tucking my phone away. I think I'll be pretty busy at Stellar next month. Lots of changes coming. Changes? Dad frowned. What would you know about Stellar's plans? Let's just say. I raised my wine glass. I've been doing more than just playing with computers. They laughed, dismissing my comment like they'd dismissed every achievement I'd ever had. But their laughter would freeze in their throats on Monday morning. After all, nothing says, Happy Thanksgiving, quite like serving your family a cold dish of corporate takeover. Monday morning arrived with the crisp tension of an approaching storm. I stood in my real office, the penthouse suite of the Millennium Tower, watching the sun rise over Chicago's skyline. Below, employees streamed into Stellar Communications, blissfully unaware their world was about to shift. Your father just arrived, Marcus reported, tablet in hand. Straight to his corner office as usual. Your brother's running late, apparently his key card had technical issues. I smiled, adjusting my Saint Laurent suit. How unfortunate. Has he tried calling IT? IT's a bit busy this morning, Marcus grinned. System-wide updates and all. My phone buzzed continuously. Wall Street Journal on standby. Bloomberg crew in position. Security teams ready. Mom. Sarah, why isn't my building access working? The last message made me smile. Of course, she tried to go shopping with her corporate card one last time before the announcement. The board members are assembling, Marcus continued. Most already know, of course. The ones that supported your father are less informed. I checked my reflection in the floor-to-ceiling windows. Gone was the carefully cultivated image of the struggling consultant. Today I looked exactly like what I was. A billionaire CEO about to claim her throne. Ms. Walker, my assistant called, your brother's trying to reach IT about his access card. Should I have them assist him? Let him stew, I decided. He can use the visitor entrance like everyone else who doesn't actually work here anymore. The elevator dinged, delivering Patricia's daughter, my inside source and newly appointed head of HR. The termination packages are ready, she reported. Including the special ones for family members. Perfect timing. I checked my watch. How's the mood downstairs? Tense. Your father's called 3 emergency meetings already, but the board members keep having connectivity issues with their laptops. Amazing how technology fails when you want it to. My phone lit up with another update from Marcus. Your mother's at Nordstrom. Corporate card declined. She's causing quite a scene. Send a personal shopper to assist her, I instructed. Make sure she understands her family discount ended at midnight. The morning sun caught the edge of the new company sign, still hidden under wraps. In 1 hour, Stellar Communications would become Walker Industries, my name finally claiming its place in the Chicago skyline. Your father's attempting to access the secure servers, IT reported. Should we let him see what he's looking for? Give him access to the acquisition documents, I smiled. Let him spend his last hour as CEO trying to figure out how he lost his company to his failure daughter. The minutes ticked by like perfectly placed chess pieces. Each move I'd planned over 3 years falling into sequence. 8:55 a.m. Board members' old security access expires. 8:57 a.m. New company signs unveiled worldwide. 8:59 a.m. David's office access completely revoked. 9 a.m. The crown jewel, the all-hands meeting where Daddy's little disappointment becomes everyone's new boss. Sarah. David's voice carried across the lobby as I entered Stellar's building. Something's wrong with the systems. My office won't open, my login's frozen. IT must be overwhelmed, I replied smoothly. You should take it up with the new management. New management? He frowned. What are you talking about? And why are you here? Board meeting, I smiled, walking past him toward the executive elevator, my elevator now. You should head up to the all-hands meeting. Big announcements today. But that's for executives only, he protested. You can't. The elevator doors closed on his confusion. Through the glass walls, I watched Chicago wake up to its new reality, one where success wasn't inherited but earned. In the boardroom, Dad was already red-faced, surrounded by papers acquisition documents he was seeing for the first time. "This is impossible," he was saying as I entered. "These shell companies, these purchases. There must be a mistake." "No mistake, Robert. Our CEO now my CEO confirmed. Stellar Communications has been acquired. The new owner is right here." I stepped forward, enjoying the way Dad's face went from red to pale. "Good morning, everyone. Shall we begin?" The boardroom fell silent as I took my place at the head of the table, Dad's chair, though he was still standing, clutching documents with trembling hands. As of 9 a.m., I began activating the presentation screens. Stellar Communications is now Walker Industries. For those who haven't been following the acquisition process. I glanced at my father. "Let me catch you up." The screens filled with 3 years of meticulous planning, every share purchase, every shell company, every strategic move they'd been too arrogant to notice. "These signatures," Dad's voice cracked. "These authorizations. All legal," I confirmed. Amazing what people don't read when they assume they know everything. "Remember that pointless startup you mocked last Christmas? It was a holding company. One of many." My phone buzzed security updates. David attempting to access executive floor, denied. Mrs. Walker's corporate cards all deactivated. Press assembling in main lobby. "Mom. Sarah, please call immediately. My cards aren't working." "This is a hostile takeover," Dad declared, finding his voice. "Hostile?" I raised an eyebrow. "Like telling your daughter she's a failure? Like mocking her career choices at every family dinner?" "Oh, Dad. This isn't hostile, it's just business." The boardroom doors opened as Marcus entered with more documents, termination papers specifically. "Your severance packages are generous," I continued. "More generous than you deserve, given the state of the pension fund you've been mismanaging." Dad's face paled further. "The pension fund is being fully restored," I cut him off. "Along with the benefits you cut from lower-level employees to fund your executive bonuses. Speaking of which," the screens showed more figures, years of financial misconduct I'd carefully documented. "The SEC might have some questions," I noted. "But I'm willing to handle those internally as long as the transition remains smooth. You can't just walk in and take over." David burst through the doors, security trailing behind him. "We built this company." "Built it?" I laughed. "You inherited it. And nearly destroyed it with outdated practices and nepotistic hiring. Check the real numbers, David. If you can understand them." The screens shifted to show Stellar's true financial state. The losses they'd hidden, the contracts they'd mismanaged, the technology they'd failed to update. "Walker Industries," I continued, standing to face the window, "will be different. Merit-based advancement. Modern systems. Actual innovation instead of coasting on past glory." My phone lit up with more updates. New signage revealed worldwide. Stock up 40% on acquisition news. Your mother trying to access the executive lounge blocked. Forbes requesting exclusive interview. And us. Dad demanded. "Your family." "Family." I turned back slowly. "Was it family when you called me worthless at Thanksgiving? When you mocked every achievement I had? When you told the board not to consider my technology proposals because Sarah doesn't understand real business?" Through the windows I could see the new Walker Industries sign being unveiled, my name replacing theirs in the Chicago skyline. "Your positions have been terminated," I stated flatly. "Your access revoked. Your benefits restructured. You'd throw your own family out?" Mom's voice came from the doorway. She'd finally arrived, probably after trying every premium store in Chicago with her now-defunct corporate cards. "Like you threw out Janet from accounting?" I countered. "A single mother who dared to question your expense reports? Don't worry, she's my new chief financial officer." The morning sun filled the boardroom, highlighting the stark contrast between my crisp Saint Laurent suit and their increasingly disheveled appearance. "The press conference is in 20 minutes, I informed them. "You're welcome to stay and watch. From the public lobby, of course. Your executive floor access has been revoked." "This is business suicide," David tried one last time. "The clients won't stand for." "The clients?" I pulled up more data. "You mean the ones I've been consulting for through my coffee shop meetings? They're quite excited about the modernization plans you repeatedly rejected." Security appeared at the doors, a clear signal that their time was up. "Oh, and David?" I added as they were escorted out. "That lovely investment banker you're dating? He works for me." Those dinner conversations about Stellar's weaknesses were quite informative. The doors closed on their shocked faces, leaving me alone in my new boardroom. Below, press crews gathered to document the fall of one family's empire and the rise of another's. My phone buzzed one final time, a message from Marcus. "All systems transferred. Walker Industries is officially online. Your father's trying to call his lawyers. Send them my regards," I replied. "And the documentation of their own conflicts of interest." I stood at the window watching my name glitter against the morning sky. Sometimes revenge takes patience. Sometimes it takes planning. And sometimes, it takes showing your family exactly what a failure can accomplish. Time to address my new employees. After all, they deserved to know what real leadership looked like. The next few weeks unfolded like a perfectly orchestrated symphony. Every morning I watched my parents struggle with their new reality from my office windows. Dad tried consulting, but his outdated methods found no takers. Mom's social circle evaporated once her country club membership was revoked. David, ever the opportunist, attempted to launch a rival firm, only to discover that his only real skill had been nepotism. Meanwhile, Walker Industries soared. Our stock doubled in the first month. The modernization plans I'd proposed years ago transformed the company into a tech powerhouse. Employees who'd been overlooked under the old regime finally got their chance to shine. The ultimate irony came 6 months later, when Dad applied for a mid-level position at Walker Industries through a recruiter, not realizing it was his daughter's company under a subsidiary name. "Should we interview him?" Marcus asked, barely concealing his amusement. "Schedule it," I decided. "But have Patricia's daughter conduct it. I want him to explain his extensive experience to someone he once dismissed as just a secretary." The video of that interview, Dad realizing mid-boast who owned the company he was begging to join, became something of a legend among the employees. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's watching those who doubted you realize exactly what they lost. In the end, I did give them something: perspective. And that, unlike their company, was priceless.